Hello, everybody. Welcome back to science class. I miss you guys. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're staying safe, and healthy, and you're getting outside every now and then. Even though now we got to wear masks when we're around other people, it's just a thing we got to do now. That's our new reality. Um, Sorry, I'm just looking at myself. Kind of sweaty. I just went on a bike ride. I bought my daughter one of those little trailers to pull behind my bike because I love biking, and she hated it. So I got to get a new daughter. Anyway, let's talk some science. This week, our focus is on carbon. And we spent a lot of time thinking about the periodic table of elements. And you guys all did your element project. Some of you even did your project on carbon. So we're going to do a quick review of carbon. And I want to remind you that we are actually still in this unit that we started a little bit ago. Sorry, my face is gone now, but you get to see the full screen. So our unit question was, how does a big tree grow from a tiny seed? So this picture here on the left, that is actually a seed for this sequoia tree, which is one of the biggest in the world. So if you plant that, wait a few thousand years, you'll get this giant, massive tree. So one of our questions was, where did all that stuff come from? Where did it get all this mass and energy to become this massive tree? So at the beginning of this unit, I had you guys predict and draw some pictures, like zoom in on a seed, zoom in on the roots and the trunk and the leaves, what's going on in all those different locations. And if you remember, we actually got to dissect a seed, and we saw that most of a seed is just plant food, and there is a little bit of like the embryo in there, and it mostly gets the energy from that food as it sprouts up through the soil, and then it starts collecting energy from the sun using photosynthesis. And we'll review that in just a second in the leaves. It also gets water from the roots, and the trunk helps to transport nutrients and water and all kinds of stuff back and forth from the plant. So I'm not going to make you do this model because we're not in school physically. But I do want you to think about that this week as you're learning about the carbon cycle. So, quick review: respiration. This is what all living animals do. We eat sugar. This is a big sugar molecule, and this is what it looks like, C6H12O6. And we breathe in oxygen, 6 of them to be specific at a time, O2. And then we turn those into carbon dioxide. We breathe this out. And we also breathe out some water in the form of water vapor. So, this is gas water. So we eat sugar, breathe in oxygen, breathe out CO2, and breathe out water. And plants, luckily, do just the opposite. Remember, we did this stop motion animation film of photosynthesis. So they take in CO2, they take in water through the roots, and they take in CO2 through the air. Remember those little holes on the bottom of the leaves. And then using the energy from the sun, they turn this stuff into sugar and leftover oxygen, and this is what they kind of like breathe out of the leaves. So this sugar, it can then break down to have energy to do all the stuff that a tree needs. And this is why we eat plants, because they have these sugar things, and that gives us energy. So just to recap, these two equations are basically the exact opposite of each other. So respiration going this way, eat sugar, breathe in oxygen, breathe out CO2, and breathe out some water as well. And plants do just the opposite. They take in water, take in carbon dioxide from the air, and they breathe out oxygen, and they produce sugar. So, carbon. Carbon is super important for all living things on Earth, and for a lot of the things that we see happening on Earth today, like climate change, which we're not going to get into yet, but we will. But carbon plays a big role in that. So animal respiration, as you just saw, that process contains and includes carbon. Plant respiration, photosynthesis. Where's that? Oh, here it is. Plants do photosynthesis. So all these processes they're basically just moving carbon around the world from place to place. Carbon can be stored in fossils and fossil fuels for millions of years until we dig them up and burn them. We can put carbon in our car in the form of gasoline. And so we emit those into the air. Carbon is in the air, it's all over the air. And the ocean can actually have a lot of carbon in it as well. This is known as the carbon cycle, and this is our focus for today. So, hi again. As you are on Canvas today, I want you to do these 3 steps. As you can see, step 1, step 2, step 3, and then the instructions for your assignment. Step 1 is this. Science Dave, aka Science Jesus, is going to go through what makes carbon so great, what makes it so special, and why do all living things need carbon? Why are we made out of carbon? There's something very specific that carbon is really good at, which is why we're all made of carbon. You're made of carbon. I'm made of carbon. Trees are made of carbon. Your cats are made of carbon. I love cats. All right, so what is carbon and why is it so special? Then there's this other video about what is the carbon cycle? Where does carbon go? How does it get there? Where is it stored on Earth? So these are 2 videos to do. Step 2, Newsela. I know you love Newsela. We've done it quite a few times in science class. So you should know this process, but I put the steps here just in case you haven't. You can click here, click on sign in. Make sure to sign in with your school username and password. And then once you log in, click on the Newsela button and you will see your assignment. If you click on this button and you don't see your assignment, you need to join my class. So click this button here to join my class. So again, sign up with your school name and password. So that article looks like this. So if you see this picture on your article on your assignment, you're in the right place. This is basically going to review everything that we've learned and the things that you learned in those 2 videos above. Step 3 is a game about the carbon cycle. This is on BrainPop. So you'll click on the link. You don't need to log in here. You can just play the game for free. Click on play game. You might need Flash. I'm not sure. You can skip all this stuff. Yep. Yes, very cool. Yep. Cool. Yep. Okay. So carbon cycle. Be sure to play the tutorial first because it is a little bit complicated. This tutorial will go through step by step how to play, but basically you're playing against another team. If you have someone else at your house you want to play, you can totally play them. Otherwise, the computer will play you. And it's your goal to move carbon from one place to another. And whoever can move the most carbon basically wins. Go through the tutorial, see how it works, and you'll do great. Once you've done all those things, you are going to be an expert on carbon and the carbon cycle. And to show me and to prove that you're an expert, I'd like for you to do this, the assignment instructions. Pretend you are a carbon atom as part of CO2 in the atmosphere. You get pulled in or sucked into a plant through the, remember, stomata underneath the leaves. Because the plant needs to make sugar, C6H12O6, so the tree has energy to grow and function. So now you're part of the tree. Now where do you go? So based on all of these things that you learned about, you will kind of know what happens to carbon as it goes from place to place to place around the world. So kind of like we did with the seeds, which was actually on the Newsela assignment a few months ago. You wrote a story about how you were a seed and what happened to you and how you grew. This one is write a short story or draw a cartoon and upload a picture of that. That documents where you go and how you got there. So I'm a carbon, I'm flying around the atmosphere. It's a nice warm spring day, just like it is in Salt Lake City. And then you get pulled in through the stomata of a plant and turned into sugar. Where do you go from there? Okay, so this is your assignment. Write basically a paragraph. Make sure to go to at least 4 different places as carbon. So you are in the air already. That doesn't count. Then you're in a plant. That doesn't count yet either. Go to 4 more places in your story. How do you get there? And if you're not sure what I'm talking about yet, do all these steps above and you'll understand what I'm talking about. All right. I've had quite a few people email me, text me, and call me or even inbox me, which is this right here. You can click this and just send me a direct message. Any way you want to get a hold of me, I'm totally fine, totally open to it. Contact me anytime. I might not respond right away, especially if it's like 2 a.m., but I'll get back to you as soon as I can. All right. Seriously, hope everyone's doing well. And also, seriously, I do miss you. I'm getting so bored at home. I mean, I love my wife and kid, but anyway, hope everyone's well. Let me know if you need any help, and have another great week. See ya.